Hello, I'm Ericka Sallee of True Synergy, and welcome back to my channel. True Synergy is a personal coaching and professional development company where I help women and organizations to figure out what is standing in the way from you being your best version, stepping out there, doing it, and being it. And so if these are conversations that you want to continue to hear, then I do encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and share it out, and then turn the notifications on so that you are in the know when brand new videos are uploaded. So the topic for today is a simple question. And that question is, what are you waiting on? I'm going to say it again because I got a feeling that somebody needs to hear the question again. What are you waiting on? Yep, I'm talking to you right there. What are you waiting on? Now, I'm going to take a sip of my water and give you a chance to think about that. Because I know you're telling yourself all kinds of things. You're giving yourself all kinds of good reasons as to why you need to wait. And here's some of the reasons. I had to jot some of them down because I'm like, if I were in your head, this is probably what I would be saying, because I know I've said this to myself. And I know I'm not the only one. So this might be something that you can identify with. So here's one. I'm not qualified. Ooh, I'm not qualified to do that. I know I want to do this, but I know I'm really not qualified. Now, can I just tell you something? I kind of think that you are qualified. I truly do believe deep down in my gut that you really are qualified because you're here. Nobody else has to qualify you, so to speak. Like when you get up and you look in the mirror and you say, yep, I'm qualified. I got what it takes. And yes, I said, I got what it takes. I can do this. And I come with a whole lot. So I'm qualified. Now, you might say to yourself, well, but the thing that I need requires me to go take a class or get a certification, so I'm not qualified. Okay, I get it. So then what do? Then you go take the class, you go get the certification. So you are qualified, and you're qualified to do the next thing that's going to get you even more qualifications. So if that's you, take that one. So here's another one. Well, I don't have the experience. You don't have the experience. So let me share a little story. Some years ago, when I started my coaching business, I was scared to death. And I was scared because I was like, oh, you know what? This is new and I'm not really sure. And so my thought was, I don't have the experience as a coach, so to speak. I remember having dinner with a good friend. And when she and I met, we were talking about me just starting out, and she had asked me for how much I was charging for one of my coaching programs. And I told her, now I'm telling you this, I charged $75 for my very first coaching program. And she looked at me as if I had 25,000 heads. And she's like, why are you charging $75 for your coaching program? And I was like, because I don't have the experience as a coach. And she was probably this conversation was the most impactful conversation that really was an aha moment for me, just caused the light bulb to go off. So this experience and this qualified one kind of go together. And she said, so you're saying you don't have the experience as a coach. So she said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have experience living? I was like, okay, yeah. You have degrees? Okay, yeah. You've been in the corporate world for a really long time, so you have. And she started running it down, and I started thinking to myself, okay. So what I was focused on was that, oh, I don't have the experience as being a quote-unquote coach, but all of the other experience that I bring to the table, showing up as me, my life experience, how I have navigated through some of the difficult parts of my life, the experience that, yes, I've had in the corporate world, and yes, I do have educational experience. And I'm thinking to myself, so I only put experience in one bucket. So if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have the experience, just think about what you do have And some of those things may be very similar to what I just said. You've been living, you've had life experience, you have navigated through some places and some spaces and some relationships and some things, and you're like, oh my gosh, well, what did I do to get through that? That's experience. So while you might not have the targeted experience, you have a wealth of other experience. I'm sure that you can filter into that specific area, and then you can use all of that to expand and provide yourself with even more experience, whether that is working with someone to help you get there, whether it's attending a class or a conference or connecting with a podcast or a social media group or reading a book. There's lots of different ways to gather the experience that you feel like you might not have, but trust and believe, I'm very sure that you've got enough to get you started. So that might be you. So you might also be saying, now this might be another one. Well, what will they say? Well, what will they say? Like literally, what will they say? People might say, oh, I can't believe she's doing that. Oh, he's doing that? Yeah, they might say that. But at the end of the day, the question is this. It's not about what they will say, but it's about what you will say about who you are and what you have on the inside of you. That regardless of what they say, it's still going to be there on the inside of you. The question is, will you speak to yourself enough to weed out the noise from everybody else? Because the reality is, people will have something to say about you and about me regardless. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's about you or me. It might be more about them. So, well, what will they say? They might have conversations about you. They might say all kinds of things. But if you believe in who you are, and I'm hoping that what you will get in this conversation is a new level of belief about what you are, who you are, and what you bring to the table, so that no matter the noise and the chatter, that you'll be like, okay, well, you know what? Keep on saying, keep on talking. Because the more other people talk about you and what you're doing and what you're up to, the less they're focused on themselves. And that is a problem within and of itself. Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, here's one. I'm too old. I'm too old. Now, let me just say, I understand. I am of the 50 plus persuasion. And one of the things that I realized, I've shared this with you here, and if you follow me on any other social media space, or if you're a client, you know I've talked about this, that yes, I am divorced and now navigating through new space. And I'm saying to myself, am I really here? Like, perhaps soon at some point, I hope, in the dating scene, and thinking, wow, I didn't think I'd be here. I'm getting older, right? I like to say seasoned. And so you might be saying, I'm too old. I'm too old to start this. I'm too old to go back to school. I'm too old. If you're still living and you're still breathing, that is a blessing within and of itself. And as long as you and I have breath in our bodies, then guess what? We are old enough to still be able to do. Now, you might be saying, I'm too old to be dealing with a lot of nonsense. Now, that's a legitimate thing to say you're too old for. So I'm going to just leave that right there. You take it, grab it, and do what you need with it. So here's the last one I want to share. Oh, I've made some mistakes. Have you? Well, guess what? You are preaching to the choir, because I have made some mistakes too. None of us goes through this life without doing something that we regret, without saying something we regret, without thinking something we regret. I mean, we wouldn't be human. There's no way that anybody watching this, hearing this, can say, I am squeaky clean, I'm perfect, haven't done anything, haven't sidestepped nothing, haven't said the wrong thing. And if you say you do, then so the reality of it is, yeah, okay, you made some mistakes. Which one of us has not? You've made some mistakes, but here's the beauty about mistakes. Well, there's an opportunity for lessons learned where we make mistakes, and sometimes we make more than one mistake. Sometimes we make the same mistake multiple times. I get it, I know. But the beauty in that is that we have an opportunity for redemption through the lessons that we learn in those mistakes. It might take some of us a little longer. I get it. Yep. raising my hand. But the other piece of that is when you make the mistakes and you navigate through the lessons, then that mistake gets to be your testimony, your story, your platform that helps you to bring yourself to the table in whatever space you're in. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to go out there and blast your mistakes to the whole world. Some things you might not want other people to know as well. That's okay. But when you know the inner workings of how that mistake or those mistakes have helped you to navigate through the place that you're in right now, what I'm going to say is, you know what? Brush it off, kick off the dust, and say, you know what? But I'm worthy. I'm worthy of being able to step into this greatness that I was designed for. I don't have to wait for somebody to give me permission. I don't have to wait for somebody to validate me. I don't have to wait for somebody to acknowledge or say, okay, now you can go do because no, that's not how this works, even though that's how we set it up to work, because those are the things that we're telling ourselves in our minds. So if you're hearing this today, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked at the beginning, and that is, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Life is fleeting. Life is precious. And so if you and I think, okay, I'm just going to wait, I'm just going to sit back, I'm just going to wait, I'm just going to sit back, I'm going to say to you today to let this be the moment when you say, I will wait no more. I'm going to move ahead because I know I'm qualified. I might need a little extra something. I might need to learn this, but I can do that. I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to wait anymore because I do have enough experience to be able to get me to the next thing. Even if you say to yourself, oh, but I do need to learn this skill. Guess what? The fact that you're here still in this space means I have the experience with being alive. So that means I know if I need something more, let me go and figure out how to get it. You are going to wait no more because you're not going to worry about what other people say. Because they will have something to say regardless of whether you're doing good. They'll have something to say whether you're doing bad. And they'll have something to say whether they're trying to figure out whether you're doing good or bad. So make this the day when you say to yourself, okay, that's it. I will wait no more. I will wait no more. It is time for you to do. It is time for you to be. It is time for you to step into that space that has your name on it, that has your fingerprint, that has your blueprint. It's time. And if you're saying to yourself, okay, I hear you saying it's time. Where do I even start? What do I do? How do I move some of this other stuff out of the way so that I can? If you are asking yourself that question right now and you're not sure, then reach out to me at truesynergy.org. There's an opportunity for you to say, hey, let's have a 30 to 45 minute conversation. Contact tab right at the top of the website. And all you have to do is spend 30 to 45 minutes with me, and we will see what's happening in your space and how I can support you in that journey. It's just that simple. So on that note, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. And I want you to comment on this video. If you want to add something, if I say, what are you waiting on? And you want to plop something in the comments, perhaps in response to the ones that I shared. Maybe there's something else that I didn't even mention. And you say, well, hey, wait a minute, this is what I'm waiting on. This is what's holding me back. Put it in the comments. Or also comment on something that you said, hey, you know what? I was waiting, but now I'm doing this. Love to hear from you. So I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Until I do, take care and be well.